Hey, loves, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back by. I appreciate you. I just wanted to come in and chat for a little bit about this grocery delivery that's going on. And I find it interesting that it's happening in the Mueller area because if it's happening in the Mueller area, when you think about the delivery process that they're using and the distance that they're using for Mueller, then some of us are close to some other HEBs, definitely less than the distance of the Mueller location. So if that is the case, then we now know that it could very possibly mean that our local nearby HEB will be doing the same. So will we switch? That becomes the question. Are we going to switch the format that we use for our groceries because we want the convenience of the robot? Do we tip the robot? I have so many questions. So I just want to get into this whole talk. So if you will share the live and tap the screen, if you will tap the screen, and I appreciate your daily heart meets. I'm going to talk to you about the robot delivery. I want to know if the robot, this particular robot that's shown here by this particular company, have you seen it already in the neighborhood that you're in? And are you using it? Do you like it? Is it convenient for you? I do remember when being in the Denver area, there was sort of the same kind of robot that would go up and down during lunchtime and deliver, different lunch deliveries. I remember making a huge mistake when we had we had a large order for a major meeting going on, and we decided to use the robot delivery. And I'm telling you, I don't know whether it was just an insider from someone in the office aware of the robot that we were using. We had a large catering order, and that order, we even sent somebody to drive because the robot at some point it got stuck. And so we sent somebody over there to the location that it was showing us. We're telling the delivery service, look, the robot is stuck. It's a huge catering order, and it's stuck and it's not coming. And we sent somebody over there, and by the time they got over there to try to catch up to the robot and pick the order up, y'all, let me tell you, somebody had took that entire catering order for the whole office, and we had to last minute scramble trying to get the food ready for the attorney. So, life happens, right? That can happen in any admin space. And that's a story that I do have to tell about the beginning of this kind of robot delivery life in corporate spaces. But to see the robot lifestyle now come into a personal individual lifestyles, that's a lot. So what do you guys think about that? If you're jumping in and you want to jump in on the conversation, I would love to know what you think about that. What do you think about robots coming now to deliver your personal groceries? And do you feel that mistakes are going to be made, and that's to be anticipated, and do you live close enough to an HEB to whether or not, especially if they roll it out to all of the HEB locations, right? So let's talk about HEB as a grocery store overall, right? So HEB, known as, they operate 400 grocery stores in Texas and in Mexico, right? So they started using this particular robot that you see on the screen here by a company. It's by Avrod, AV Ride, I guess is how they go. I don't know how they say their name, but it's AVRIDE. Delivery robots are the ones that are doing the delivery. Now, people are saying that this has rolled out in the Mueller neighborhood. We're all familiar. If you're here in Austin, Texas area, you're familiar with Mueller, right? So it's in the Mueller neighborhood, and it's rolled out, and it's only about 1 mile radius of delivery, which it's rolled out and it's only about 1 mile radius of delivery, which typically makes sense. But when you think about the future plans of HEB and where HEB may have been going overall in moving to this particular moving away from using maybe like Instacart or DoorDash or anything like that. When doing so, when moving away from delivering those, using those delivery services, they have been upticking how HEBs and where they're located. Right, a lot of people, if you don't live in the major cities, like I live in a major city. If you don't live in a major city in Texas, you probably have to come from the outskirts, for the most part, to go either to a large HEB, one of those supermarket HEB kind of things. So you probably have to travel quite a bit, right? Or a lot of people want to go now to the really popular one that everyone in the downtown area, certain areas want to go to, is the one on in the SoCo area, right? Where they have reportedly, I'm going to go to it if things calm down downtown. I'm going to go take you guys on a field trip to it. But it's a large HEB, and they have just introduced music. So they are now doing music performances. I don't know if it's on top of the groceries, next to the groceries, on the live center, whatever. But they're having little festivals and everything, all while people are grocery shopping. So HEB is just trend setting, constantly trend setting, because it is the music festivals at the SoCo location that I thought already, like, wow, they're doing festivals and performances, live music performances, to kind of help out local artists and give them, the stages to perform at and to do their due diligence at. So that's entertaining if you feel like, coming in with three or four of your little toddlers. My children are grown now, but if you feel like coming and you have like three or four toddlers, and your toddlers are running around the grocery store wanting everything, and you are going to be sidebarred with a live musician performing at HEB also. Who knows? That works out for people who that fits, for the lifestyle that fits. Location of that particular location, one of the largest HEBs in the city. I'm not sure if it's the largest HEB, because there's a really huge one in Round Rock. That's a really large HEB, and I've seen footage of people going and shopping at the one that's in Mexico, and that HEB in Mexico is massive. It is, from the footage that I've seen, YouTubers that have gone to Mexico and they are, filming inside that HEB. That HEB is big. But if, for those who are jumping in, and what's an HEB or HEB, as people see HEB and they think it's HEB, but it's a grocery store. Okay, so it is a large grocery store. Like I said, HEB has over 400 grocery stores in Texas and Mexico, and so they're now using these AV Ride or Av Ride. I don't know how to say this company's name, but they're using these robots, right? It's a Texas-based grocery chain. I have been, talking to you guys. If you scroll through my timeline, tap on the host and follow the host and scroll through, and you'll see a conversation that I had with you before about HEB. And when it came to that conversation, we were talking about the possibility, because it's been rumored and in talking in financial spaces, that HEB may purchase Whole Foods, right? So if that does happen, and if Amazon sells Whole Foods to HEB, which is a large merge, purchase, whatever you want to call it. If that happens, it will then kind of be like the Bucky's kind of thing movement that's happening. Bucky's is now in Colorado and in Virginia and different spaces, right? So Bucky's left Texas and kind of went swimming into other spaces on its own, right? So HEB is like, excellent response from Bucky's. And so we could probably tap into doing that. But how will we do that? Will we want to go and just build HEB locations and compete with the likes of Kroger and Safeway and all the different grocery stores that exist in other spaces, right? Because HEB tends to be almost the dominant grocery location outside of Walmart in Texas, right? So whether or not that they would go and do that, well, the talk is, I don't know when they're going to confirm whether or not this move is going to happen or not, because HEB was up in the high bid for Whole Foods prior to the Amazon purchase, but Amazon won that bid, and the history on, right? So Amazon took on Whole Foods, right? So now we're looking at the fact that HEB is going at it again. Like, here we come again, and we want Whole Foods. So if that happens, then you'll see HEB in, like, what, Colorado Springs? You're gonna see HEB in, like, Denver, right? Like, so can you? I don't. Yeah, what will that look like? And will they still call it Whole Foods, or will they just turn it into HEB? Because if they turn all the if they purchase Whole Foods and then they turn it into HEB, the growth for HEB is just, beyond measure, beyond being able to even think about. And when you think about the CEO, the persons in charge of HEB, they had, I think they made the Forbes list even this year, right? Well, they always make the Forbes list. What are we talking about, right? But they have a lot of money. So the franchise has a lot of money. So I wanted to tap in and see if you guys, what do you think? Like if you're coming in and tapping in and you want to have a conversation about, I just want to know what you think about the robots, right? So they're androids. The droids, which they have a service radius of only about 1 mile, right? These particular robots for the delivery service that I saw the update on. They have been stationed according to MV Kuna on MVC Investing on X says. According to they have that particular person on Excess, they have a service radius of about 1 mile. They've been stationed at the Mueller HEB since around May. So around May or so, the people have been, around Austin have been seeing this service. And when you think of, if you've never been to the Mueller, Mueller, the history of Mueller, right, is back in the day when I was growing up, Austin, Texas, back in the day. That's where the original Austin airport was. If you, for those, the Robert E. Mueller Airport, right? You guys remember that? And then the airport moved out there to where it is now, and that location kind of became like more of a housing, high end. I don't want to say luxury because I think people out there would feel I would be pushing it a bit if I called it luxury, but more of a high end apartment kind of living location. But I like they have like a thinkery science kind of event center there for children and families or whatever. Pretty nice location. So if you ever come to Austin and you want to visit some areas that Mueller Mueller location that has different food places. I like a sushi spot there. I like a Chinese spot over there. What's that other place that I like? I think I get my donor bowls over there too. Whenever I went over there, so I kind of had fun exploring the Mueller area, seeing it. Again, I grew up Austin, Texas, when the only thing that was the Robert E. Mueller Airport. So my age is showing for sure. But that's now the popular Mueller neighborhood that everyone talks about, right? So again, they said that there's a banner at the location at the Mueller location, right? And shoppers can have in these little bitty. You see, I don't know, maybe the one towards the back kind of shows you about the size of the robot, right? So it's kind of equivalent. The experience to using this delivery service is the equivalent to getting in the 10 items or less line. Like when you go to Target or when you go to Walmart or somewhere, you get into 10 items or less line. This is what this is tending to be, you guys. So, the banner that the guy saw when he was there, he says it's 10 small items can be delivered by one of the robots. It's about all the robot can handle. You're not going to go in there at HEB and try to get one of the bookshelves or something like that. You got to keep it low key. Get you some bananas and some strawberries. Maybe get you a little thing of orange juice, and call it a day. This is not one of your big HEB shopping. Grab a dress, grab a shirt, grab a picnic basket and all that. This isn't that shopping trip. This is just getting your basic small items. Maybe you need a birthday card for your mother, or just something really small, small items, 10 items or less, right? The service is available exclusively right now at the Mueller location in the Mueller neighborhood. And the service is available for you guys, if you didn't know, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., right? Austin, Texas. So, Austin, here's what I thought about. If you're in North Austin and you're in the Lakeline area, will that location, that's the one that's nearby us. Let me type in, let me see. Let me see. How close would HEB be for like a lot of different locations, right? The domain. Let's type in HEB domain area, right? I think I've been to that one also. So the HEB in the domain area, um, so for people at the domain, I don't know. I don't think you can get the service because a lot of people that live in the domain, it would be about, for me to get to use that if they were to put it at the HEB plus in the domain area, it would be about 1.3 miles for me to be able to get it from that HEB. So I wouldn't be able to use it if they put it at that location, right? But if you live in domain and you have, you live in the housing above the shopping area or whatever, you live in that part of the domain, I don't think it's going to cross the highway, that major toll that, across from the domain. I don't think it's going to do that. That little robot will get crushed. We drive 80 miles plus an hour in Austin, Texas, so I don't see them taking a chance with sending the robot that direction, right? All right, no, those are just jokes. Okay, so let's see the closer HEB, and you guys do it if you're in the Austin, Texas area. Type in your HEB and see how is there one close enough for you to have the service. So I can't use the one at the domain because it's 1.3 miles, right? So then if I go the other direction, further north, like a northwest direction, to try to use the one off of 183, I can't even use that one because it's almost 4 miles. So I until they extend the radius of the robot, I'm not going to be able to use it either. So now I can only hear back from the people that are in the area. I need to hear your experiences. Or what I can do for us, you guys, is I could go over there. Um, I could go over there and I could just kind of film. I did that for you when I was in Denver, right? So way back when, anybody remember my video that I posted of the robot that was doing the little delivery? I was working in a high rise downtown, and there was a little robot doing a little lunch delivery, and I think they were red. The robots downtown Denver are red, right? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the ones downtown Denver are red. The robots downtown Denver are red, right? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the ones downtown Denver are red. So, and they look just like this. They look like this little robot right here. So it's not like a first time thing happening when it comes to the robot delivery. It's just rolling it out for everyone within a 1 mile radius to be able to use. Will that begin to get a little crowded? I'm just curious. Is it going to get a little crowded? I don't know why these kind of things entertain me. They entertain the least of people for the most part. But I am curious because then someone who lives in that area, say someone who lives in a neighborhood area, and they do kind of make their ends meet by being an Uber Eats driver, right? Or being a DoorDash driver, and they kind of like the close proximity of living nearby a grocery store, so they can come out their house, do some deliveries to the nearby neighbors, and then go home and make their funds and ends for the day. Will that kind of be hurtful for them because that's cutting into their market, right? So they're competing with a robot. And again, I can't help but ask, do you tip the robot? Do you tip HEB? If I'm tipping HEB, why am I tipping HEB? HEB is like a whole millionaire. I understand tipping my DoorDash driver. I understand tipping my Uber Eats driver. I just don't know how I feel about giving the robot a tip because I know that the robot can't keep the tip and go spend it on some new metal. Like this, anyone else think? My therapist would call this overthinking. Okay, I'm supposed to tone down the overthinking, but like I I don't think anybody should be given a tip for the service because HEB rich AF. Like so because HEB is rich AF, like I just should you really be tipping them for the service? You already are paying a lot of money, to utilize the grocery store every what? Most of us go to if you're going to 10 to 20 items, most of us are hitting the grocery store what every 4 to 5 days. So HEB, you already taking our money. I know. But tip the robot, you guys. Don't listen to me. Those are just jokes. Tip the dang on robot. You know it's gonna become an issue. Why are you guys not leaving a tip for little AB? I don't know what his nickname will be. Okay, so kind of some back history on it. They said A-Ride and HEB joined forces for the delivery partnership. HEB's, of course, number one grocery chain in Texas. Again, 400 stores across Texas and Mexico. Top ranking in the national retailer. They do have wonderful numbers financially. They are phenomenal, so it's not surprising that they're rolling out the robot thing, right? And they did team up with AVRIDE for this autonomous delivery in Austin, here in Austin, Texas. So I just thought I would come by and share this as a podcast because I thought it was interesting. And maybe you guys didn't think so because you didn't comment much, but if it was helpful for you, or interesting food for thought conversation that you could share at dinner with your hubs tonight, then let me know. I thought it was interesting for me. The AVRIDE is headquartered in Austin, Texas area, so that's interesting. They have the AVRIDE is headquartered in Austin, Texas area, so that's interesting. They have sales exceeding $46 billion. HEB itself sales exceed 46 billion, and the chain is ranking number one in national surveys for multiple years in retailer preferences index. So this is a game changer for those who have stock in it. Can't talk about that. Oops, I almost talked about that. Can't talk about that. Seek your advice from your financial advisor on how you could go about getting stock in this particular service. This is not advice. This is a fun conversation to have a discussion about a whoa financial move in the robot world and what that could do for portfolios. Who knows? I can't give advice on that. All right, so that clear that up. F1 in the chat. All right, that's all that I have, you guys. I just like seeing robots pulling up in spaces. I have one right here. Look at this. Look at this. Is that a little police robot? Food delivery robot bypassing the police. Oh yeah, that's the one that I saw. I wish I could show this to you guys. This is the one that I saw in Denver. I wish I can you see that? Can you even see that? That's the one that I saw. It's like that and it has the little wheels on it, like even like the one in the video. But and it was delivering food, and I thought that was cool. So I decided one day, if you're just now jumping in, I decided for my boss to do that one day. I'm like, okay, we're gonna use it, and I did this huge catering order for our event that started like really soon. And what they did was because I have a good rapport with the person's restaurant that I got it from, the robot got stuck. Don't know what happened. We sent one of the workers over there. He drove over there real quick to figure out what was going on with the order. It was in close proximity, so it was able to be delivered. But the food was gone. Someone has taken the food. I made a quick call because I like to work early, so we were working early with the lunch order. So I made a quick call and I told the guy, and he personally delivered. Is it called Illegal Pete's? I think it's called Illegal Pete's, up there in Boulder, and they personally delivered that lunch quickly for the firm. Saved my job that day. Saved my job that day. So that's a different working a different Colorado story, right? But it saved my job that day because that robot failed me. But hey, that was in the beginning of the robot delivery days. But who also took the food? Like that stays in my mind years later. I'm now in Austin, Texas, so behind me. But literally, no, I did not get fired because of that either. Like I did, just literally came back home to Austin. But who took the food? Who took all of that food that we had on the robot's little thing that day? So stories like that will probably come out about people's groceries as they use the new HEB robot grocery delivery service. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. Recap, or if you want to watch it again, or if you care to, then you can follow the link in the bio. If you will follow the link in the bio on my YouTube, I am Dee Shields on YouTube also. And there's a video that I post that's getting a lot of attention. People are talking about what we saw over the weekend. Fort Worth, Texas. Hundreds of women marched in handmade outfits. If you haven't seen Handmaid Tale or read the Handmaid book, you maybe not relate or even understand the whole that particular movement. You may want to do some research on that, but go click on that video and see the conversation that's unfolding in the comments. Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys coming by and supporting me. Thank you a lot for that. I appreciate it.